Hello there, Hark, or Angelarts, whichever name you prefer to be called. I am Ethan, or Skull, and I am auditioning for your Dragon Age campaign Season 3 with my character, Tirin Seadov. I'll introduce myself first. I am a high school student, age 18, living in Malta, studying in IT, trying to go to the game development path as my goal and my hopeful career. I have been playing tabletop role-playing games for about 3 to 4 years now. Started off with Dragon Age actually as my first system and as the first system to GM, and then moved on to other systems as my life went by. Um, in terms of flexibility and time, I'm quite flexible at the moment, especially on the weekends. I usually do nothing, and I spend most of my time, trying to find, you know, waste time sometimes, unless there's some work I have to do. But anyway. Let's go to Tirin now. Tirin Seadov is an escaped elven slave rogue, traveling as a sea raider, actually. In his first 19 years of life, he was born as an elven slave from his two parents who were also elven slaves under a master. In his young life, he had to do rough work to help his master, do whatever his master wishes him to do, even if they were good or bad, whatever they were. Sometimes, though, Tyrion was not the nice slave he was, as we can expect, and he would sometimes disobey his master's orders, and when that would happen, he would get a bit for it, and he would be bleeding a bit sometimes due to the harshness of the whip that the master carried. And in those times when he did get that, though, he was lucky that he had deft hands, and he had kind of he sort of self-learned himself to stitch his wounds and bandage them to stop the bleeding so his master doesn't whip him again because he's bleeding on the floor. A talent that he actually also learned from his mother, who did mostly that to her husband. After 19 years of life spent as a slave of a master to a master, he eventually met with a captain of a ship called the Blue Throt, and with him, he persuaded the captain to try and bring him as a crew member and work as an apprentice doctor to heal up, the crew, stitch their wounds up whenever necessary, and assist them. With some persuasion and possibly a bit of bribery, he was brought on, and they left, ran away, and he was given a life on sea, a new life actually. And after that, after 1 year on the sea, he's made a new life almost. New friends, new allies, nothing bad, so to speak. Better than his previous life. In terms of skills, when it comes to, he's a rogue by level, by class, my bad, not by level. In terms of talents, I'm seeing him more of like a very supportish guy. He knows the ways around bandage and a needle and a thread to help his allies, healing them up. If the going gets tough, if he needs to stab someone, he always has a trusty short sword next to him to stab people in a deft single-handed style. That's the hope anyway. In terms of personality, when he was a slave, he was like a very like a lone wolf type, alone, trying to stay away from the master and anyone else. But when he joined with the crew, he met new friends. He kind of made a bond with them, with the crew, and I think with that, it might translate to when he would meet new allies, new parties. Making bonds with others is easy for him because he never had people, and with that, he's the kind of guy where I think he would have a much easier time trying to make allies because of his like old life, not his old life, but his current life, what he does. And with his healing nature, I think he could become good friends. Reason I made them is mainly because as a rogue, I have not played rogue yet in all Dragon Age games, and I just like the idea of an escaped elven slave. I haven't seen much in your campaign. I haven't seen any PCs that were slaves, escaped elven slaves specifically. So maybe this will bring a new shed to the light of that. Other than that, that's all I can say really. So I'll be leaving you. Thanks. I'd be grateful if you do reply back, and yeah, we'll see what will happen. Catch you later, man.